Hello everyone. Welcome to the eighth episode of Choosing the Red Pill with Rajesh and Omer. And today we will be discussing the Indo-China relations in the light of recent border clash. Tonight, we have with us none other than Ambassador P. Stobdan, a man of utmost importance and par excellence. He is a distinguished author, diplomat, academician. He has written extensively on security related issues in multiple magazines, books, newspapers, both in India as well as abroad on security related issues. He has also served more than once in Central Asia as the Indian ambassador, taking Indian interests in mind, and also as joint director of Indian National Security Council. So it is truly an honor to have him on the show. And we welcome you, sir. Thank you once again for coming in and joining and enlightening us.
Thank you.
Welcome, Ambassador Stobdan. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
Yes,
This is
yes.
Rajesh, and welcome to Choosing the Red Pill. We are greatly honored by having you here today. So,
Thank
sir,
you.
thank you. And so, in the light of the recent border clash between India and China that's happening, and the de-escalation is supposedly going on right now, what I wanted to ask is, for our viewers' sake, there is a lot of anxiety and speculation in the masses today because nobody has correct information. And so, for that, would you like to put some light on it? What exactly transpired between India and China at the in the valley there, and what happened before, and how are they de-escalating? And I also heard that first de-escalation process failed, and that's how the skirmish happened. And then there is another further process of de-escalation is going on. What is the result of that? Nobody knows as of yet. And so we just want more information from you for the clarity's sake of the masses who are not really who don't really have an access to the correct information these days.
Yeah, the actual problem started in early May when we discovered that Chinese have come into finger point 4 in the northern bank of the Pangong Lake. And suddenly they built a fence and they prevented our troops, patrolling troops, to move ahead up to finger point 8. Fingers are actually the mountain spurs that come into the lake from the mountain range on the northern bank. And there are supposed to be 8 spurs, and these are named as finger 1, finger 2, finger up to 8. So normally, finger point is the place where we claim our line of actual control, and from there the lake takes a turn towards west and then go further down, and at least 70% of the lake is covered by China, and the rest of the 30 to 35 kilometer is with us. So within that
So basically, the
30,
LAC passes through the lake, right?
no, 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 no. LAC passes through the lake at finger point that the LAC crosses. So the most of the lake goes into the Chinese side, and 30-40% is with us. Within
Right.
that 30-40%, you on the one side you have one mountain range, on the northern side is the mountain range. So on the northern side, the Chinese have been fiddling us for every time. I mean, this has been going on for quite some time, since 2017. Normally, the phase-offs are quite normal. It happens after the winter is over. During March, April, there is a repositioning. The glacier melts. Roads are open. The troops go there for patrolling again. It's a routine thing. And if there is a direct phase-off, they come here and we go there and directly we are meeting each other. Then there are standard operation (SOPs) under the border management agreements. There are a number of agreements that we have signed since 1993, 1999. Then we have 2005. Then last we have in 2013, that was signed after the Depsang episode in 2013, which is called BDCA, Border Development Cooperation Agreement, Border Defense Cooperation Agreement. Under those border management agreement, there are set protocols. In case of face off happens because we don't have international border like
Right.
we have with Pakistan.
True.
With Pakistan, each and everything is dotted. There are no doubt. If they have violated, we know they have violated. If we have violated, they know we have violated. So there is no
Right.
confusion at the LOC. It is called line of control with Pakistan. Here we don't have line of control. We call it line of actual control. It is not international border. It's just a line agreed upon sometime back in the 60s, and but this line of actual control is a line where the perception differ. I say this is my line of control. He says this is my line of control.
Right.
In between, there will be a variation. If you are in
Right.
Delhi, I would say I'm sitting in Munirka and the Chinese are sitting in Greta Kailash. In between, there is a Hoskas. I say Hoskas is my point. They would say no, up to Munirka is my point. So there is a neutral zone in which both sides used to patrol. It's quite usual. It happens. Normally, in 1 year, 200 to 300 border face-off takes place all over the boundary with China, which is about 3,400 and something kilometers we have with China. 90% of violation takes place in Ladakh sector, which is the western sector. So during this patrolling point, the perception differ, and in case of difference of opinion, there are standard operation. You put up your flag, said no, this is mine. The Chinese will say this is mine, and then the two sides discuss and check the map and all these things, and they retreat. This is a standard procedure. Unfortunately, this year they came into so much and they didn't go back at Pangong Lake, where we used to go up to finger point 8, they stopped us as at finger point 4. Says, don't come from here. And we were making a small road, Pakka road. There was a Kacha road, but we were making
Right.
Pakka road, black topping and all that. So they stopped us and they started building some fencing and some wall and kind of thing. Meanwhile, they entered into the Galwan Valley, which is further north, some
Right.
200 kilometers away from the Pangong Lake, on the other side of the mountain in the north. From there, you go up to Karakoram Pass. It's quite a huge territory. And east of this Pangong and Galwan Valley is the Aksai Chin Plateau. Now, Aksai Chin Plateau is not small. It is twice the size of Switzerland. It's a 38,000 square kilometer of territory, which is supposed to be ours, that we've lost. Not lost, but the Chinese are illegally occupying that. And the Chinese have built a lot of roads, highways, and everything from that plateau, linking Tibet with Xinjiang. And this is a strategic road which they have for a very long time, built during 1950s, late 50s, and we got to know in 1959 or something like that. But they have been building it before. Now, since then, there are a lot of things are happening. I guess even they are putting up 5G towers somewhere there around. So they are doing a lot there. So they are now pretext they are giving this time is that India is building a strategic road from near Pangong Lake. There's a place called Durbuk. From Durbuk to Karakoram Pass, where Daulat Beg Ulde, last post we had, it's about
Mhm.
255 kilometers road.
Okay.
The road has been planned some 20 years ago, but it never got completed. But in the last 2 years, this government has speeded up. A lot of effort was done. And it was not because of bureaucratic delay, but there was Supreme Court order that these are, protected areas. There were environmental issues. There were litigations. These kind of things. It happens in
I
India
believe, I
everywhere.
think we have commissioned an airport also
That is
in
at the last point. That is at the last
right.
point. Now, from south to north is about 250 kilometers. We don't have road. You can only go by foot or by air.
Right.
That airport also been reactivated only in 2008. It was left
Okay.
unattended for many years. We used
Right.
to have in the 60s. There's another airport at Chushul next to Pangong Lake. we can never operate that because of Chinese objection. Chushul Airport is very, very important. But even if the sun rises, the shadow falls on the Chinese territory. It's so near.
Ah, ah.
In fact,
Oh,
you hear that when the Chinese commanders and the Indian commander meet, it is right there. It is called Chushul, Muldo, BPM, Border Patrolling Meeting Point. The two sides annually meet. There is some kind of festivity also. Dancers go, artists go, and both sides exchange greetings in a normal way. Annual meetings take place. Next to that is the Chushul Airport. You must have heard about the Rizangla incident of 1962, Major
Yeah.
Shatan Singh, Jang Thapa. All these incidents in 1962 took place around this place, which is just next to Pangong Lake. So this airport and the airport which we are talking about, Dolat Beguldi, right in the north, that is the northernmost part of India at the Karakoram range. Now in between there's a huge plateau. No human being lives there. You can't find even a ghost. It's so dangerous place. Even during summers, freezing cold. It's desolate region. Now India has been making road from this Pangong Lake area to the north, some 250 kilometers, and Chinese have been now stopping us. They said, "Look, don't build this kind of things," and we objected, and they came inside and stopping all these places. So that is the point of conflict. Now conflict was fine. We thought it will be normalized. They will go back and there will be a process of de-escalation. And on the 6th of June, the high level commander level meeting took place at the lieutenant general level. They agreed, yes, de-escalation will continue, at least in the Galwan Valley, but not in the Pangong area.
okay.
While the disengagement was going to happen on the 16th or 15th June, in the night, this incident happened. Was it a localized issue? What was it a well-planned strategy from the Chinese side to change the entire picture or escalate the matter? That is a matter of speculation. It looks like that they may not have the a big design prepared from Beijing's order or something like that. It's a could be a ploy uh, fixed by the local level military officials of the
Yeah, because I
PLA.
have heard that the Western Command, the Tibetan Command, does not has some autonomy. They don't take direct orders from the Central Command in PLA.
Yes, normally, no, it's not the case like that. There are many military theaters in China, Eastern, Central, Western, Northern, whatever it is. The Western provinces, where the Western military command enjoys certain amount of autonomy, you can say, they enjoy a broad strategic direction from Beijing, but it is up to those PLA commander to decide how they want to protect their territory,
Right.
protect their interests. The blanket strategic order may be there, but nitty gritties, I don't think it is directed by Beijing. The people there, they take their own calls. So this region is quite special because both Xinjiang and Tibet, two provinces, come under this military theater, and that makes a little bit suspicious that this has been done at the Western military theater level operation. Um, so this has become a problem, and I would say yes, it is possible that disengagement process was not handled properly, or is it that the even if it is handled, Chinese had a design before, they have come prepared to disturb the entire process of disengagement. It could be localized tactical error that could have also happened. So there are a number of possibilities. Now, whatever has happened on the 5th of Monday night. Now, this has led to the escalation process. Now, escalation process, I don't know whether it will lead towards further escalation or further de-escalation. At least the end product of the Monday night incident has opened up the diplomatic channel at the higher level. The
Right.
ministers from both sides talked. The important point is that whatever PLA has said, the Foreign Ministry of China is also repeating it.
Yeah.
It seems now the PLA is dictating terms on government rather than
That
government
is
telling the
interesting.
PLA.
Yeah.
It shows
Very
that there is an
interesting.
internal problem within China also. There are different stakeholders, even in our democratic country like India
And
or
then they're
United
in the
States.
middle of US trade war as well.
So to say that China is a monolithic country, it is dictatorship, it is one leader, Xi Jinping controlling everything, that is also seems doubtful. Even if he controls, he has a lot of resistance coming from various forces.
Sorry.
So I think this is number one lesson you have to draw. Second lesson, I think even while we had agreed for disengagement, Indian side may not have factored that Chinese could be a deceptive and very double dealing people. They go back and they turn back and stab you behind the back.
Right.
So it is a treachery the Chinese have done against our troops, killing people,
Mhm.
coming back with weapons which are very lethal, not guns, but even the hand to
Iron
hand.
rod and barbed wire
Yeah,
and all.
yes,
Yes,
barbaric.
that and
That has caused, and the interpretation for both sides is quite different. We think that they have violated and they have provoked. The Chinese are now saying that you have violated and we have provoked. The other thing which came out uh, as a result of Monday night incident is that suddenly the PLA, which is the Western Threatened Command, came out with the statement that whole of the entire Galwan Valley, which is quite a big valley with a lot of water resources, a lot of it's a very nice valley. I have been very close by, but I have never been to the valley per se. But I know the close by areas in the Shayok Valley. They started to say that this is a old Chinese territory. We have a sovereign right here. So that came out suddenly. That this is a new change now.
Yeah, yeah.
As long as it was border face or border violation incident, okay, you deal. There are mechanism to deal with that. Now they made a political statement. The point is that on the 16th, this happened on the 15th night, 16th morning, the PLA came out with this statement, and the 17th, the Foreign Ministry of China in Beijing repeated the same verbatim that
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
of Galwan Valley belonged to China. So it shows that they had a design, they had a purpose, they have a larger strategic design. And I don't know what the Western Theatre Command enjoys the rights and power to decide their own. I guess they also have the mandate to protect all the Chinese projects in that area, including the Belt and Road, CPC, or they are doing some money, spending some money in Nepal, So when the Indians are making roads and bridges and whatever this thing, they think that this is being made to disrupt the Belt and Road, projects. So I presume that PLA must be responding to Indian construction activities, road building activities in a very negative sense.
Right.
India is building its road for its own defense purposes, for the development of that area, going right up to the final point in the. So China somehow wants to stop India somewhere in between so that we could not reach to the northernmost part of our country, which is Dolat Ulde and the Karakoram Pass. Beyond that is the Xinjiang province. There is a valley called Mazar Valley.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
yeah, beyond Mazar Valley is the plain starts of the Xinjiang plain, the town of Yerken or Kargilik starts, and then you go further into the west. Then the Kashgar comes, go into the east. Khotan city comes. So then the Tarim Basin starts from there. So it's very all the Chinese project, the Belt and Road, east-west highways, everything passes either through that Yarkand, Kashgar area, or little bit in the south in the Mazar Valley. Now, if they are able to capture or cut us off from the Karakoram Pass, then they would have another road from south of Karakoram going right into to join the Gilgit-Baltistan region. That's quite serious issue, and
Right.
under no circumstances this could be allowed to to uh, to be allowed to be uh,
happen. Yeah.
go ahead. So therefore, Indian response is quite natural, effective. If that is the strategic intention of China to change the ground position, then I think it's not a normal situation. And now we really don't know what is the political decision. The political will has been shown by Prime Minister, has taken everybody into confidence. Obviously, there was a domestic pressure here also from the
Yes, sir.
opposition. People are also having anxiety, fear, what is happening at the border, especially after the 15th night when our Jawans got killed.
Yes.
So it's quite natural. It's quite natural. Now, how it will pan out in the coming days, we really don't know. At least the foreign ministry level channel is open. I hope the disengagement or de-escalation process continues despite this incident. That's the only hope. Otherwise, then it is all options are opened. I suppose we will be forced to evict the Chinese from at least from our area. If they have come even 1 kilometer inside, we have to force them back. India may not
Yes,
cross
sir.
into the Chinese side of the LOC, but they are sitting on our side, then it is our duty of the nation to tell them politely to leave or forcefully evict them through some.
Absolutely agree.
Yes.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
What do you think about the other kind of speculations that are flying around that Indians also killed 43 of the Chinese, and there is no actual official confirmation of that from Ministry of External Affairs or from government or even from Indian Army, but that kind of news is flying around. What do you think about that?
Yeah, normally Chinese don't come out with figures. Now there could be two possibilities. Chinese don't come out with figures mainly because they want to hide something. Number one. Number two,
Mhm.
it could be very tactical, not to tell to their own citizen how many people died, to control the emotion, fury,
Right.
anger, nationalism, whatever they have in China. So that's a very systematic way to sort of keep everything under control. They also don't want to spoil relationship because after all, India is a market, for many things Chinese
And
sell.
I guess right
Uh,
now they have a bigger war to face with the US right now.
Yeah, but still, India is a valued customer. That
Yes.
Yes,
if you are a shopkeeper, you value your customer. So that's quite
yes, sir.
natural for any businessman. China is today is like a salesman. So they look at everything from the business point of view, and that's why they don't reveal the statistics, and just not to raise the tempo or the temperature of the people on both sides. But there is a military dimension to this. Now something called balance of damages, balance of tragedy, or you can say balance of casualties. Okay, if we've lost 30 people or 20 jawans, and the Chinese have also lost equal number of things, then it gets balanced off. ठीक है,
Right.
हम भी मर गए लेकिन हमने उसको भी मार दिया. That is what even Prime Minister has said. हमारे जवान लोग लड़ते लड़ते या मरते मरते मर गया या शहीद हो गया. मतलब मरते मरते मैंने उसको मार रहे थे,
Correct.
फिर शहीद
Mhm.
हो गए. इसका मतलब हमने मारा
That's
है, उनको भी मारा है. So the message is
right.
that we have created an equal kind of a thing. So which means that it opens up a possibility for de-escalation.
Correct.
If there is
Correct.
a
And
suspense,
this, sir,
yes,
yes,
if there is a suspense that there is an imbalance, we lost more and China hasn't lost anything, then the anger goes up.
Right.
Badla lena hai
Mhm.
and all that. So these are psychological thing and politically told or sold or interpreted in a manner that it suits both the country. It happened during the Doklam time period also. Very, very carefully handled how you send the message across China or across India. So that's very important. It's a tactical thing which the militaries know how to deal with this kind of a situation. In the absence of Chinese giving statistics, that makes it a little bit harder for us to accept. So we can only guess that China lost more people than us. So maybe
Yes,
a sense of okay, fine, होता है, मर जाता है, and all that. Uh, that's all right. But the most substantive part is that after this, who is going to say what? A, the question is going to be, have we violated the border management agreements? I believe,
Hmm.
yes, it is a violation of all the bilateral agreements that we have signed on border issues. Entire effort of last so many years, since 1993, this is going on. There are CBMs, there are many protocols between the two countries, and not firing it against each other itself is part of that agreement. So therefore, there will be a matter of interpretation who says what. Number two, we don't know what kind of a negotiation now goes on. If the negotiation is starts with certain preconditions, and we need to see what Chinese conditions are going to be, Chinese preconditions are going to be on the Galwan Valley and on the Pangong Lake issue. So now it depends.
We don't have
Our
any information on their demands as yet, right?
No, but that is only taking place at the border. Your
Right,
media cannot go. Government is not saying anything. How are we supposed to know?
right.
Both governments are not
Exactly.
saying. We only know that no headway has been made. Okay, no solution has been found. That's only one liner coming, but these are matter of details. Nobody seem to be having any information. But obviously, these are tactical military matters that nobody will get to know also till the last minute. And if the Chinese side says something which is not agreeable to us, and if the agenda is set by India this time, the preconditions are set by India. First, you go away from both sides to the status quo ante of April 2020 level position. Then we will talk about other things. So I think our conditions are very clear. A, we don't want to have problems or conflict. B, you must go back to the old position before the whole dispute took place in April, end of April or beginning of May. Three, we are not going to stop our road construction on our side. Okay, so
Yes.
it depends how Chinese will respond, but I'm sure both sides have some space to maneuver how much
Right.
concession one can give and how much compromise we can make and how much they can make compromise on their position. So these are matter
Hmm.
of diplomatic skills, military maneuvering. People who are sitting on the ground and negotiating at each other. It depends on the competence of those people, how skillfully they resolve. If they are not
Yes.
resolved, then it goes into larger realm. Everything is not lost. There are political channels also. Prime Minister and President of China is quite good terms so far. I mean, till very recently. But if the political communication is lost, if the political relationship between the two countries is lost, then I think it will be very difficult for both the militaries to make to control their views. Because the militaries are militaries. Even our military is very strong. They may say, "हमने इतना sacrifice किया, why should I leave?"
Correct.
It's true.
Yep.
So
Yes.
therefore, whatever position certain regiment has, certain command has, they will stick to the military discipline. Whatever we may say, people in the ground or people in Bombay or Delhi may say, they have their own ethics, their own line of thinking. After all, they have sacrificed. Similarly, the Chinese may have something which they will refuse on various pressure coming from on them also. So in that case, then I think it will escalate, and we don't know. It will be a limited war
Hmm.
or be a local war. We don't know.
Yes, sir. So very quickly, I would just add a little question, if you have time. That uh, after this recent border clash, it has had an adverse impact on the diplomatic relations between India and China. That is for sure. So it has divided the country into two broad camps broadly, and there is one camp that is saying that our national policy towards China needs to be a bit more aggressive, and we need to go on boycotting products and everything so as to hurt their market. And the other camp is saying that we need to work on de-escalation because our own industries are not in a position to boycott products overnight. So, do you think that this recent border clash can trigger any uh, policy shift towards China? Do you think it can make somewhat of a difference?
I don't know. There are two camps at the moment. The first camp seems to be much more visible. The second opinion seems less visible. Even if they are not coming openly. It's not acceptable because people are charged, people are angry, people want quick response. They are even asking question to the government. Have you been sleeping? And all this kind of accusation could be made. So under no circumstances the country would be divided on this kind of issues, whether we should boycott or not boycott. The government has not said boycott. Government has made some policy changes in the FDI, into giving contracts in certain strategic areas, into the digital technological areas. But they are not saying that stop buying murtis from made in China. So far, they haven't said it. Now it's up to the people to decide. That is why I also have a problem. The people are very funny. Uh, we hate the Chinese from morning till evening. We say all kind of things, and we take flight and visa, and then go to Shanghai or somewhere and start buying things. Now, Chinese are not inviting us, are they? We are going ourselves and buying cheap Chinese goods. So then, if we do have this kind of a behavior, and then we are not going to be taken seriously. And I keep reading in Chinese media what kind of people they are. They hate us, but they can't live without us. I mean, that's something, even not acceptable to me. As a human being, as a citizen of a proud country, we should have one proper thinking. If you hate it. But then we are the ones who are going queuing up there in the shops, getting all the goods. So it is at the level of the people. People, why people not stop buying Chinese good? That I don't know. That only need of the people will decide their demand. It's a end of the day. It's a market decided, market driven issues. It's not emotional driven issues. It's not military driven issues. If I need a cheap mobile phone, I will go for the Chinese make. How can I buy made in America mobile, which will be 80,000 rupees, if I can buy for 4,000 rupees Chinese made telephone or mobile phone? So it also depends from citizen to citizen, from customer to customer. I don't think government can enforce. Uh, but then more than putting restrictions like this, I don't think then there are international obligations of WTO, many other things that we have to think about. So we can't be discriminatory against one particular country. If we want to enact laws, want to bring changes in our laws, then we have to be a little bit more universal, acceptable to the international community. We can't be country specific policies. In certain sector, yes, we have taken a decision that Chinese will not be able to come here in many strategic areas of communication, digital, and all these things. But otherwise, but at the same time, what people feel in a democracy, sentiment of the people matter. It's a reality that government come under a lot of pressure from the people, and we have to acknowledge, take care of the people's emotion and sentiment. That's part of our society, and we cannot just wish away those demands of the people. But I thought, I am a very serious uh, believer in boycotting Chinese goods. But it starts with the social media and ends with the social media. In reality, when I want to buy something, I'll end up buying some Chinese product. Maybe my pocket doesn't allow me to buy something else. I don't know, something with that I'm hooked into. Uh, I'm sure everybody else has this kind of a problem to deal with this made in China kind of stuff. Uh, as an analyst, I do not take these things very seriously. Economics should not be mixed with, border issue or something else. This is an emotional outcome of a certain other problem. To me, even it looks like that the border issue is just a reflection of some economic problem. Chinese are quite angry that if I cannot invest in India, I will not allow other countries also to not invest in India. I will vitiate the atmosphere.
Right.
I will destabilize the region. geopolitically I will create problem. So if I am a German company holder, I want to spend $10 billion in India. Now I will think twice after this border clash. Or is India safe? Is there going to be a war between India and China? How long is it going to last? Will it end in the next couple of months?
Possible.
Then I will be hesitant to invest. Why should I invest in a place where security situation is bad?
Right.
So Chinese play all these multiple games. So therefore, 1 kilometer coming here, 2 kilometers coming there. I don't think that is the crux of the entire issue. Crux of the issue seem to be a market-driven problem, economic problem, and also perhaps India is a victim of conflict which is going on between United States and China. The world is again getting polarized into two camps between
Right.
Chinese-led one and the American-led one. And the Chinese think that now we are moving towards United States. The Chinese are then instead of confronting United States, they will confront with you because it's a low-cost option. With India, damage is going to be less. If they confront with the United States, the cost is going to be quite heavy. For example, if they attack Taiwan, the American will directly get involved in Taiwan conflict with China. So which the Chinese will naturally avoid. So instead, they will push into Indian side to give a signal to the United States. I can reach out to many places. I can open up many fronts. Don't dare. But end of the day, it is a politics between these two countries. And I just heard that Americans are now. John Bolton has said that Trump is going to China, asking China to help him win election next time.
Yeah, I read that too.
Yeah. So if the whole purpose is to negotiate on trade and then this COVID issue and many election issues, then they will do business behind the scene, and then we will be looking like a fool. That should not happen. Normally in international politics, it can be very tricky, and I find in the last 3 days I don't see any country coming forward and saying, look, I am with India, please go ahead, we'll fight with China. Everybody is playing games. As an
Yeah.
observer, even including our good friend Russia is keeping quiet. This is quite strange. And the United States says, Trump says, I don't have any official scheme right now to negotiate between these two countries. So, the actual problems are quite complex, and we get sort of heightened by this kind of a small issue. Game would be something else. For example, I'm saying that in the Galwan Valley or in the Pangong Lake, it is not about 1 kilometer. That 1 kilometer is used as a symbolic point. Chinese would be calculating somewhere at the global level, to achieve certain strategic goal in the Pacific or some other kind of thing. They have hundreds of problems facing in South China Sea and many other places. So it's all about messaging. It's all about maneuvering. It's about engagement. So I think since we are an emotional country, we see everything in black and white, either you hate or you love, kind of a thing. In international politics, there is
Yeah.
no space for hating and loving. It's all about engagement. You play games
Indeed.
through. You go a little bit and you come back. In the area I come from, in the border, people we have a border sense. Border sense is quite different. If as a Ladakhi, if I go to Kerala and sitting in Kerala at the Kochi coast, I don't know how to react with the ocean, how the ocean will move, how water will behave. I don't know. As a mountain man, I cannot understand ocean. But if a person from somewhere else go to the mountain at the land border, they would not know how to behave, how to react to this situation. So border sense is quite different, and we have a lot of animal. You must have heard the animal called yak, 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 yak
Yes.
animal in the mountains. When the two yak fight, both the side initially make moves, strong moves. Your actual strength lies in how strongly you keep your position initially. So when the two yaks fight, they are very strong initially. After some time, one of the yaks get a sense that this fellow is stronger than me. Then he make a very gentle retreat. Little bit they come behind because he senses how much he can go up and how much he can come back. So coming back is not a sign of defeat.
Right.
Coming back is a bravery. If moving ahead is a sign of your strength, retreating is also a sign of bravery.
Right.
This only the mountain people know. The border people get the sense, because it's not one day affair. We do every day. If not with the Chinese, then in the old days we used to do with Tibetans. The Ladakhis and Tibetans fight all the time. We murder each other, we suffocate each other to the death, we kidnap each other. These are old practices. This is India China thing is a very modern phenomena. It's been going for centuries. It's not a big deal about it. But point is that these are part of the game. Engagement, economic, social, religious, cultural, territorial, border, and all these things. It's a dynamic area. But unfortunately, now nations cannot now tolerate this kind of a thing, and it becomes a very, very, very serious emotional issue. And we are refused to back down from the position that we have taken. Like for example, 62, we still not have forgotten. Other countries, they also had a war with China, but many of them have forgotten. The Russians had so many war with China. They done okay. After a couple of years, they accept the reality and they move ahead. But we are a very emotional country.
Emotional
People,
country.
yeah. Everybody, South Asia is very emotional. I find everybody is so emotionally driven that we refuse to accept certain reality. And that's the reality. What can you do? India, Pakistan is a case in this. Both have certain amount of position which is beyond rationality,
Right.
beyond so they have their fixed positions. Yeah, but at the same time, that's also a reality. People sentiments are also reality. One can't
Absolutely.
escape. But I think the answer lies in how do you maneuver all these things. Nationalism, territorial issues, diplomacy, economic interest,
Right.
overall stability, peace. Everything must factor. It is not one way directed policy. Everything must be taken into consideration and take a very, very calibrated position on this issue. But if it doesn't work, then we should not show also.
Yes, I
Yeah.
hope that the nationalist fervor that is there right now, that hate, that anger is at least channelized rather than boycotting Chinese product, which is fine. But at least we channelize that anger into producing cheaper and better goods than China. So if we channelize it there, then it's better for India.
Yeah, for example, I read somewhere that we import 90 crores worth agarbatti from China. Now tell me, out of 1.3 billion people, we can't produce agarbatti here. I mean, if I want to set up a factory of
Bizarre.
agarbatti, but I will face myself. I will face a lot of problems at the bureaucratic level. कहाँ जमीन मिलेगा, कहाँ मुझे loan मिलेगा. So we have to make a lot of reforms in our own country, make changes in the laws, making business so easy. More entrepreneurship must come up, not dictated by few business powers. It should be decentralized, horizontally spread. I think these are important steps that we can take. Maybe this incident has given us a lesson. It will be a catalyst now for us to rethink our
Yes,
economy, the more strength to manufacturing, for exports and improve our economy. End of the day, even military has improved after 1962 war. If the 62 had not happened, we would have been quite still relaxed.
yes,
But I think it has given us an incentive to do better. So it could be blessing in disguise. I'm not saying people should have died. Our Jawans have lost life, but their life will not should not go in waste. We should actually
yes,
give us some kind
We
of a
should learn.
benefit. Since they have sacrificed their life, we should learn a lot of things, and their sacrifice should not go in vain. We have to be far more vigilant, far more productive, and now the challenge is more economic, especially after post-COVID. It's entire thing. There is an opportunity for us to transform ourselves. Any
absolutely.
old thing must be deleted. something must continue, but the future has to be a new one, more
Absolutely.
balanced, more thinking. So I agree, this energy has to be directed in making future of our country in a different way. Somewhere we was, it's a fixed kind of thing which was going on. We need a way out now. Maybe pandemic, COVID has given a way. Maybe China has provoked us to do something better. Uh, I think I see. Otherwise, the war is an option, but in that, war, in this age, war has become, it's a necessary, but it's not that necessary right now. If
in
other
these
options
days
are
in
available.
these days I guess war, rather than annihilation of the other, war does more of a self destruction kind of a thing, is there in
Yes,
the war.
Yes,
politically, but then the emotional thing in our country is very, very important. It's not, everybody knows that we will pay a price. Chinese also know that they will pay a price, but then the governments are made by people. They have to respond to the people's sentiment, so that cannot be wished away. On the whole, I
absolutely.
think it should be taken as a lesson, as a new opportunity for us to bring a lot of reforms. That is the sense of feeling that I get. That I'm angry, but this angriness must produce something positive also.
So, thank you so much for coming, sir. This is has been very enlightening, and no one else could have explained the things in such clarity. So, I once again thank Ambassador Stobdan for coming and taking time out from his busy schedule. And we cherished this discussion, sir. Thank you so much.
I'm so enjoying the
Absolutely.
discussion with you. I hope we could go on and on, and
Yeah,
probably we can invite you again and request you to come again sometime again if we have valid topic for you for something like, I'm sure there is Russia pending. There is a discussion pending on Russia for us. There's a pipeline going on to Germany, and there are American sanctions on that. So there is another topic which we might have in future, and I hope you would honor us again by coming.
yeah, sure, sure. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming,
Thank
and
you.
hope to see you again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.